Happy Monday, folks. College football time with Avery Miguel. Avery, Oregon, Washington. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Especially that first half was something
that first
else.
half. Yeah, that first half was spectacular because at the end of the first half, you had Oregon trying to at least go into the second half with a lead, and they just couldn't convert. But, you know, Oregon came out swinging in the second half. But overall, we said it last week with Texas and Oklahoma, it being, possibly a top three game of the year. Oregon, Washington, another contender for top game of the year. And looking at just the football over the weekend, I think we need to give props to this Pac-12 conference. A lot of people talk about the ACC, Big Ten, Big 12, SEC. For a conference that there is still talk that might not exist, all the teams in the Pac-12, except for two right now, all have records over 500. And even the game Friday night, Colorado Stanford, which some people don't want to talk about. I mean, Stanford is looking as a great team to make a contention just for the other teams in the Pac-12 conference. But Washington, Oregon, on Saturday afternoon was absolutely fantastic. Nearly came down to the wire, but also Michael Penix Jr. has now jumped to the front of the Heisman Trophy race. Even with Caleb Williams, he tried to hang in there with Notre Dame, but Notre Dame just was too much for USC, and they doubled them up badly. So Michael Penix Jr., I think, is the front runner now for Heisman. Bo Nix is still in the conversation, but I think that loss to Washington may have just slid him down a bit. But I think the next three games for both teams can see how each team will fare in the Pac-12 as well as their quarterbacks when going into the Heisman. Because if you look at Oregon's next three games, they're playing Washington State, they're playing Utah, and they're playing California. Washington, their next three games are Arizona State, Stanford, and USC. And both teams have a great chance of building on their record to get to that Pac-12 championship game and the bowl, but also we're getting a lot of spotlight on a conference that for those of us on the East Coast, we may not get a chance to see, but we're looking at some great football out west. And I'm wearing a Seattle Kraken shirt representing Pacific Northwest. There's some great football up there. Some great football up there, and we need to pay attention to it. Definitely.
This is one of those games that I wish I was there in person to witness. So every person that was in that stadium, they're gonna be forever remember this. That was an incredible experience. The first half was magical. The way that game ended was magical. Washington didn't quit. Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, he got tortured, annihilated against Notre Dame. So when it comes to Heisman Trophy, it went like this in one day. It went like this. So, but man, and Bo Nix, great performer. Completed 33 out of 44 passes, no interceptions. But and Oregon, they did have more passing yards, more rushing yards, but Washington just didn't quit. There was no quitting them, and we came so close to see an overtime game, and it just went a little snippet to the right. So it was a heartbreaking loss for Oregon, but both teams left it all on the field. That's something I'm gonna miss this conference. I'm gonna miss this conference. It's not gonna be the same after, but we gotta enjoy while we have it.
And you're right, Miguel. If you looked at the crowd in Seattle, you could tell that, whether most of that crowd were for the Huskies or those people who were for the Ducks that came in, that crowd was just electric. Like I said, there's something going up in the Pacific Northwest where you have the Seattle Kraken, being there. You have the collegiate programs just making big waves. There's something about that area that when you get behind a sports team, a organization, when you have a great fan base, and like I said, look no further than the Seattle Kraken. When they came into the city a couple years ago, the city just got behind them. And even though you're talking about a team, the first year they didn't do that well, their second year provided a great accelerator for the rest of the region. And look no further than Washington and Oregon. And you're right, we're still not sure if the Pac-12 is going to be here next year, but just look at all the great play that we have seen from the Pac-12 conference. For those of us on the East Coast, it may be a little tough staying up and watching, a kickoff that starts at 10 p.m. But look at the results. The Colorado Stanford game was a 10:30 kickoff. I was at work watching that game, and I watched it till the end. And that was just a fabulous game to watch. But also looking at the rest of the Pac-12, we could see some great games. And you're right, Michael Penix Jr. is the front runner right now. He is absolutely the front runner from Tampa, Florida. He is the front runner. Only he could mess this up. He has everything going for him. His coach is behind him. His players are behind him. His offensive line is protecting him like he's a national treasure. So I look at Washington to have a really great go at what could be also a potential playoff, because currently right now, Oregon only went down a spot, so they're ranked ninth. Washington went up 2 spots, so they're sitting at number 5 right now, right behind Florida State. Of course, you got Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio State is just right behind them. So don't even count them out from a playoff bid. They just have to play some really smart football, consistent football. And, we're not even halfway through. And college, that's the best thing about college football, all the surprises. Each Saturday, you think you can get that, oh, it's going to go this way. Oh, this team's going to win. Oh, this team's going to blow them out. But then you see these great games. You see these young men and these coaches just figuring out plays, playing their heart out. And it makes great for Saturday football. It's a reason I really don't leave my house on Saturday. From noon until midnight, it's just a great day for college football and college football in general.